Bert! Get him! Yeah! Ron Babe was right.
I'm feeling spry. All right, everybody. I promised I wouldn't say who it is because you know who it is. I promised I wouldn't say what the name of the show is because you already hit play. But you do have to listen to the intro.
Well, this is Roof now. The good news is it's not going to be 30 minutes, so don't fast forward.
Okay. I'm going to start out with my title sponsor, Roof. Do you recognize that name?
On X.
Yeah. And what happened with you and On X this week?
Well, my subscription kind of expired, but little phone call here and there, a little button here and there, I'm right back at it.
And we're marking spots.
And I do exactly where I shouldn't have been.
We're marking birds. For once. And of course, there's gunner kennels, food crates, bumpers, more.
Well, wait a minute. The more.
We
We saw Mike today with a gunner sweatshirt on, and I told him, I said, I like their sweatshirts, but they make good kennels too.
They do. They really make it bomb proof. Of course, Pike gear. Billy McPhail here. He looks like a walking billboard for Pike, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He looks like a mannequin.
It's good stuff. Come on.
Two guys had the Pike gloves today. I wouldn't say they were ready for 15 degrees below wind chill, but you guys rocked your Pike gloves.
They worked. They worked.
Your Pike Tongass top. I saw Pike bottoms. I saw Pike tops. I saw a lot of stuff.
Well, Brent
You got
one
Pike
time.
socks on, Ron.
You got the good eye, Bill.
Oh yeah.
I got the Pike socks with the.
I know those mediums look good on you.
That's my bunion.
One time Brent was having a get-together with Pike. I'm like, tell Brent, thanks for the invite. He says, tell Roof you got an email. And I went back and
Sure enough, you got an email. And Garmin, I don't think there was a dog out there without Garmin today.
No, there was not.
I've always said Garmin is like Cher or Bono. You don't even
Elvis.
That's your age.
Right.
It's like that. It's synonymous. Like
Right.
you don't need a last name.
Right.
They're like last names would be like Boss, Shot Shows. You can't just say Boss. You might think it's Bruce Springsteen.
Well, that's true.
Right. So it's Boss,
You
Shot
can't say
Shows.
shot shells would be the stuff what you used to sell.
Right. Shots. The hot shots.
Right, the hot shells.
And you can't just say gear, or you can't just say Pike. You gotta say Pike gear. You can't say just Gunner because that could be a dog's name. But if you say Garmin, it's like there's nothing else there. And then you haven't bought any Garmin products in a long time. But if you did, Roof, where would you go to buy?
W, Ron. W, and we're not talking W like whiskey. We're talking unicorn. Uniform, I think. W.
You were doing good until you hit the uniform. It's DOUBLE, the letter U.
That's what I'm saying. U, not W.
Right. Supply.
Right.
So that's another one. Can't do one. Now, Walton's, you can't do Walton's like a one name, everybody knows it, because you might be thinking of Michelle Leonard and...
TV show. Don't say it, then you got to pay royalties. Don't say it.
You're right, I can't.
Don't say it. Let everyone, they're all saying it to themselves now.
And I'm not, what is that? I'm not in the Screen Actors Guild.
No.
In fact, the writers are on, we'd get our
It was that big barn in the forest.
Walton's, you have to say for Walton's, you got to say, Walton's, they have everything but the meats. Because it's like, if you want to stock a kitchen for hunting, processing, sausage making, vacuum sealing, from aprons to robes to meat to
it's better with the meat though.
Right.
I tried it with the mayonnaise and just the stuff. Wasn't bad, but it didn't have a lot of oomph.
Now, if you said Mossberg, I think you could get away with the one named Mossberg.
Yeah, right.
But in certain countries, they might just think you're the Mossberg family. Mm-hmm. So it's O.F. Mossberg and Sons. They've been making guns in America since 1918, which I didn't know.
I didn't know either.
And you have a Mossberg for home defense.
I do. My Maverick.
Yeah.
Nobody's.
So, Just like when your
Nobody's
dad.
perfect.
Just like when your
When
dad
my
was,
dad was in the Coast Guard
in
in
World
World
War
War
II.
II. Nobody came over top. Right
Nobody
in the
came
Great
over
Lakes
Alaska.
there.
So that's another one.
Well, real quick though, that
Yeah.
410 is a gorgeous looking
Oh.
little gun.
Yeah, they just we're all going to be shooting this at White Lake.
It is gorgeous.
We're going to wait till the last day, but everyone's going to take around with this this black label 410 over
It's
under.
gorgeous. It's really nice gun.
It's like if you saw this, you'd be like, "Oh my God, this guy's driving a Ferrari." But we're all going to be in Boss. Well, see, and that's another one. Boss shot shells. You can't just say Boss.
No.
That goes back to what we said. But we're all going to be shooting Boss shot. You're shooting Boss shot shells.
Mhm, Yep.
And what I've said many times on the podcast, it doesn't make you a better shot. It makes you a better kill. But you got to hit it.
Doesn't make you a better shot, but your shot's better. See what I'm saying?
You know what? They can hire you.
You could use that.
They
You
can
use
hire
that.
you.
That's a
They
good
could. Now, everybody knows I got the 4-wheel Model M camper. Mm-hmm. Did I sleep in it the other night?
Well, no.
And why?
Well, you didn't have your buddy heater.
I didn't have any heater. But, of course, it's attached to my pickup truck. And I brought it out with full intention of sleeping on the road until you were 3 hours ahead of me in a snowstorm. And I don't want to
Yeah.
set up the
Yeah.
pop-up part of it with an ice storm coming. Other than that, I'd be honest with you, if it's not that cold tonight, I'm sleeping in the truck tonight.
Oh, I might be able to get some sleep then.
Come on. The beds are a little small.
Not in the truck, not in the camper.
No,
You're
not,
talking about
not in the Model M, though.
Right.
I got a king-size bed on top of that. King size.
king size. Yeah.
Now, you and I talk about working out a lot. I'm not saying you're not trying,
Yeah.
but you could use a little bit more. You could use a little canine athlete, wilderness athlete. You're kind of resistant to that shit.
Well, yeah, it's.
You don't like to put impurity. What you think is, if it doesn't come from Whole Foods, you don't want to put it in your body.
Well,
You don't even like tap water. Let's be honest.
I was putting a canine athlete on my Purina though. And that was Pro's Pro Plan.
That was pre-pro plan.
Right? Yeah.
So everybody knows every dog's getting fueled out here with Canine Pro, Canine Field. Come on, you didn't help me through that one at all. Energy.
Well, I'm not gonna be.
I know. I didn't write enough notes, did I?
I'm not gonna be drinking canine.
It
athlete
tastes like
stuff.
liver, but the dogs love it. Do you have your gum leaves with you?
I do.
I got my gum leaves. Now,
I do.
right now, you can step on a dog turd and not have to clean your shoe
Right,
because it's
right.
18 degrees in the morning. But had it been wet,
Right.
what would we be wearing?
I've been wearing my gum leaves.
That's right, Gum Leaf USA. All the dogs are eating Purina Pro Plan. Last year we were here. Casey had a pallet. And I don't mean like the pallet they send me for my dog.
Oh, the pallets.
This is a pallet that goes to Costco.
Right.
This had 55 bags on it. So that's a done deal. Everybody out here is feeding that. Now, what did I have? Where's my lining cool roof?
I know where the empties are. I don't know where the full ones are.
Okay. Anyway, Leinenkugel is fueling me. Canine Athletes fuels the dogs.
Back in the day, though, when we were in Chicago, we used to get Leinenkugel, either the red bottles or the blue bottles, and we had the returnable bottles in the actual case, and just keep them in the back seat.
Well, growing up where we grew up in Chicago, we either wanted to get Coors from Colorado.
But you had to have somebody going to Colorado.
Right. But if you went to Wisconsin, you got
Leinenkugels.
Leinenkugels, and you thought, I'm shitting in high
That's
cotton.
That's right.
And of course, Roof, you've made several references to using the Upland Institute.
Well, I'm trying to get Ron a code so he can train his dogs the way him and Justin trained the dogs on the video.
Because
It'd be
I'll
more
tell you,
fun to hunt with you.
it's kind of like when I was in 7th grade, the teacher says he doesn't apply himself. I haven't applied the Upland, but had I applied the Upland Institute, Josh, you had the Upland Institute, right?
Yes, sir.
What'd you think about it?
I tried to apply it. Yeah, so it works when you apply it.
I got a question to ask you about it. I found this not hard to believe, but a little hard to believe. I meet people and I said, well, did you get to here? Like, no, I just kind of went to here. Like, I wonder how many people go through it like a football coach. I know a few have reached out to me and they're like, one guy said, he goes, my wife's going to let me get a second dog because I got this dog because training is also behavior. And when you do the calming touch and all that stuff with your dog, you get a better house dog. And we got some dogs here ain't that great in the house.
Well, they're skipping past foundations.
There you go. So don't skip past
Vince Lombardi started his first practice with the Packers as, gentlemen, this is a football.
He wanted to make sure that nobody had any misunderstandings. All right. And did you know that Behind the Dog came out this week on YouTube?
I did not.
Yeah.
I did not.
The episode that we did with Nancy Beth Clemens and her husband Steve, what we're doing is when these episodes come out, people can buy them if they want to watch them in their entirety, unbroken, without commercials, and it's only like $4.99. But once they've been out for a while for sale, then we're putting them on YouTube. And the first segment just hit the Hunting Dog Podcast YouTube channel of
Beautiful.
Behind the Dog.
Beautiful.
So you don't want to miss
Let's
that.
break the internet. Let's go for it. Break the internet.
I would love to break the internet.
Yeah.
I'd love to break even. All right. That's it. Here comes the episode. Just a little primer of our first couple, me and Ruth's first couple days in South Dakota and the first day at White Lake. Love you guys. Love you girls. Love you girls more. So, this is the day after my birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
And we took, everybody's out here at White Lake Hunting Lodge for annual listener podcast hunt. And we got some returning characters. And there goes Mike, you're leaving. Mike's walking around with a small mustard lantern in his arm like a baby. Mike, what's your dog's name?
Blitz.
Blitz? Yeah, you know the name of the dog. A verb like that.
Well, it's a German tank, isn't it?
Yep.
No, I think that was the Blitzkrieg was
Oh,
like,
it was a war, a battle.
I think it was a
Not a
battle.
battle,
yeah.
Battle of the Blitzkrieg.
Blitzkrieg.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, so
Nice try though, Roof.
it started out.
History class was right before shop class, so I kind of ducked out early. Sorry.
Well, you know what else you ducked out of? Firearms class.
Yeah. See,
You knew I was going to go there.
Here it goes.
Anyway, so Roof left from Illinois 3 hours before me, leaving from Michigan. Bill McPhail and his brother Jim left from Montana and Boise, and somehow simultaneously met in where?
Rapid City.
Rapid City. Mike, where'd you came? Well, you came from North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina to Nebraska.
Pull your seat up here.
Yeah, so you can get.
You know, we can't hear you through that Civil War beard. I knew Mike. I didn't know Mike, except I already know that I talked to him. But he had a Gunner Kennel sweatshirt on, so I'm like, oh, he's one of ours.
well, I told them the sweatshirts are nice and they make good kennels.
But you went to the Sandhills on your way here.
Yeah.
Did you make other stops or just Sandhills?
Nope, just Sandhills.
And it was a little adventurous.
To say the least, I wasn't expecting the steep elevation climbs, trying to get to the sharp tails, but we did it. Somehow.
Did you get your Muncie to successfully point one
Yes.
and shot?
Yep.
Sweet.
And retrieved.
And retrieved. It's not bad. Now you ran her at what's Scott's kennel's name?
Rusty Guns.
Rusty Gun. So you're buddies with Scott Caldwell, who's a friend of mine, and you ran her in NA last year or this year. When did you run her? Him.
Year and a half ago.
Muncie's always look feminine. It's the ears.
It is.
It's like Cocker
Well, they
Spaniels.
look pretty.
They're pretty. They're pretty. They're like Tom
But
Cruise.
men could be pretty.
They're small, good looking.
Where are you going with this, Ron?
I have no idea. I have no idea where I'm going with this. So
yeah,
how old is Blitz?
2.5.
So when did you run NA? At the end of the age or early?
End of the age. It was last October.
Oh wow, that was right at
Right at
Yeah, I'm getting careful on the dates here.
So how did
That was a day short of 18 months.
how did Blitz do?
Good. He 112 prize one. Had a couple little hiccups, but they were
So
more obedience related.
Did you? Yeah, but luckily there's no obedience on the card. So, but did you think you had it? Like, or did anybody walk along with you and say, "Oh, you got this," or did you?
Is that loud enough?
Oh no!
Yeah, that was loud enough. Thank you, Bill. Did you? Did you predict what your score was going to be?
No.
No.
I knew he passed, but
Because they didn't say take your dog back to the truck during the day.
I didn't think he would get a 112 prize one.
Right.
There's no way I thought that was going to happen, because there were a couple times he decided to go off on his own to chase birds.
Which is normal puppy behavior.
Yeah,
But you don't. This is a pretty big running dog, period, though, right?
Yeah. He ran off in the woods during the field search chasing a chucker.
Yeah, that
And
happens.
Me and the bird handlers got on a golf cart and rode up to the main house, thinking he might have
Gone up
gone
that far?
up there. Cause
Oh, yeah, I'd have gave you a 3 in
It was,
search.
it was right next door, but we came back around the corner and he's sitting at heel with the judges and they're holding the chucker.
No kidding. So he just went to make a very long, difficult retrieve.
Yeah, and he did the same thing on the pheasant track. He went down the hill, followed the track, went straight ahead, lost it, came back around, circled twice, found the track again, followed it to a T to the wood line. Judge was like, "All right, go get your dog."
That's always a good thing to hear.
I walked down there to get him. It's probably 30 seconds into the track. I'm calling him. He turns around, flicks me off, bombs off into the woods. I'm like, I'm not doing this again. Because he jumps down this big ravine, climbs up the other side. I'm not chasing this dog. And I hear, "Arr!" And he comes bouncing out of the woods with this pheasant in his mouth, does a parade lap, and hands it to me.
You know, that is a small one, Steve. I mean, and everybody's heard me say at least 50 times on the podcast when I was judging, we always worry about the field we're going to set up. Because is it too dry? Is there enough cover? The book says it should be 6 to 8 inches of cover with blah, blah, blah. Well, it's hard to find fields that are just in a right stage of hay mowing. That, you know, you do it in dry fields and tumbleweed fields, and let's just say the third dog up, the first 2 dogs are struggling, and we're like, oh, the people are paying money to be here. And we're like, where do they find this field? You know, and then somebody will come up with a small Munster lander, and the dog just tracks it, gets a 4, comes back with the bird, like, field's fine, field's fine.
And it was perfect for tracking. We had a light rain that morning. The field was well manicured.
Yeah.
We tested them at Potomac up in Virginia.
Oh, Potomac? Yeah.
And they've got a gorgeous setup.
Yeah, I've been up there many times. You know, Mike, when you do talk, try to use your outside voice.
What's that?
Like you're in the wind.
Like you're in the wind today. Like, hey, Ron, Rooster! Well, what'd you think of it? You just got here, Mike. We've been here. We're seasoned veterans of South Dakota. What did you have fun? Did you have a ball? What'd you do?
Oh, this was a ton of fun.
It's not like you can't really compare it to anything else, can you?
No, I've never done anything like this, and it's addicting. I'll be back.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, you know, this is a push, block, and flank type hunt. It's like what they call old school South Dakota hunting. You'd see people when we first started coming out. You came out first, right, Roof, with me? Mm-hmm. Out of this group, you and Bill? And, you know, on opening day, families would get together and they
20,
push,
20,
they block,
30
and
wide,
they flank, and the roosters just fall and fly out of there. And I love it when I see people. I love watching people miss more than I like watching them hit.
Well, you had a good time today then.
Right? I told Dennis when we got back to the truck on one volley, and I said, "You think we ought to do cheek swabs and send in a 23andMe?" And he goes, "Why?" I said, "I bet you a lot of people here are related to Helen Keller." But the shooting got better. It did. Like by the end, they're falling more than they're flying away.
Yeah, that last push we did was great. There was a lot of birds in the field, and I was blocking and Troy was coming at me flanking, and I was just watching birds fly and fall, fly and fall, fly and fall.
Because the first First pass, Bird gets up and Casey says, "Come on, ladies!"
First one.
First one. Jimbo, you brought out a functioning gun this year.
Yeah, it was nice.
I can hear the shit talk out there already.
All right, now your voice will carry. Sit down here,
Hey,
Tate.
You have to sit over there though.
Or talk loud.
Oh, that's the Bravola.
Is that the new pup?
That's the
Is
Bravola.
that old already?
11
Yeah, they're
months.
11 months. Yeah.
How you doing, Tate?
For those of you who don't know what's going on here, Tate Martinson just came in. Tate's we met him here many years ago, but Tate also does all the Nav the Silly games with.
I do.
Did you go to the Invitational this year?
I did.
How was your percentage?
Didn't make it. Short in one event.
One.
Yeah.
Well, the
Thought
year
I
I
had
saw you, you passed one. The year I saw you in Iowa, I think, wasn't it?
I passed a handful this year. I thought I had it, and they thought differently.
Were you running your dogs or client dogs or your?
Mine.
Do you run client dogs too, though, at the Invitational? What do you get mostly for dogs? I mean, I know you're. What's
$6
the
grand.
name of your kennel?
Martinson's Red Point Kennel.
All right, so and it's obviously Visualist Red Point.
Right. That's
But-
what we breed and raise.
But
Yep.
what is your most popular client dog, or is it a tie between this, and this?
It varies from year to year. That's previous years. We've had a lot of wire hairs. You know, obviously it's pretty popular in our area.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. But this year we had a lot of short hairs and a good handful of poodle pointers.
Yeah, not a lot of Griffins, huh?
Had just a few this year for us.
Yeah, some places you go and it's like, did everybody read an article in Gun Dog
Right.
and buy a Griffon? That's one of my. Mike, when you reached out to me, it was before you bought the dog, right?
Yeah.
What were you looking at for dogs? Was it only SMs, small musties?
Yeah, that's really what I had set my sights on. Just size, temperament. It kind of fit what I needed.
Everything you read. Did you meet one before that?
No.
So there-
Surprise!
Yep.
supplies. Just let everybody know there's no video on this. Mike is still holding his dog like my grandson when he's being fidgety at church. We would put you in the cry room at First Lutheran. How long are you back here now? Right through Thanksgiving, Tate?
No, so I stay here for each hunt, and so I only live just an hour away. So my days off that I get, I go home, spend a day or two, whatever day off, then I turn back up here. So if we have consecutive days hunting, I just stay here.
Do you? Now, so you're not. I mean, this time of year in South Dakota, you're not doing many client training things unless it's
Zero.
something. Zero. You just
Zero.
You clean the books
Yeah.
off for it.
Done. I'm guiding, and if I'm not guiding, I'm hunting.
And would you rather be hunting?
Yes. And most part, this is good. It's good. A lot of great guys. So I can't complain. To be honest, you know, sometimes I wish we had more of a break in between where I could hunt days in between. But then again, I have the whole month of December and January where I can go hunt. So just kind of
you don't-
hammer through it, get done with it, and
You don't hate the cold then. You
oh
just,
no.
You're like, that's just what it is living here.
If I want to hunt, this is what we got.
So it's like the chucker hunter's like, well, that's all we got is stupid cliffs.
Yeah, right.
I guess we're gonna love chucker hunting because it was cold this morning. You even said it was cold, but that's not December, January cold. But you
That's-
get nice days too, though. I mean, you
So
can get-
like this morning, it was cold. That would be our typical December, January day.
Yeah.
it would just
Normal day.
Yeah, but our body is accustomed to it. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it doesn't feel half bad.
Right.
You know, if we get a 20-degree day and sun shining, we're damn near outside in t-shirts.
Yeah, well, if there's no wind.
Correct.
Yeah.
The wind's always
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
Yeah. What was I just gonna? God dang it! That thought went right in and out of my damn head. Oh, what's Bridget doing? Is Bridget?
She just, she was up in Montana hunting as much as they can, but they just got that big cold snap and everything up there, so that kind of chased her out of there. So she's back in Sioux Falls hanging out. And,
by you guys.
just kind of hanging out, doing a little bit. I think she's going to go to the Visual National Field Trials that I think is in Illinois or something along there. So she's going to go see that this weekend. Then she might head west out to like Pier or something and do some more hunting.
I haven't seen her in a while. Is she doing good?
She is. She is.
Somebody asked me, like, why do they hold these field trials in the fall? Because the GSP one was just in Kansas, I think.
I don't get it. Even some of these, like the Sioux Falls, just had their big show ring and stuff and all that stuff. And when we showed our one male, they asked us several times, "Oh, you got to go to the show?" And this, and I'm like, "There ain't no way." And I am going during hunting season.
You can say hell and damn and shit on this show.
Yeah. But as I don't
have
get
you shown
it.
in the ring?
Me personally, no. And will you see me? No.
Okay, because I don't look good running in a circle, but I brought my dogs to it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing breeding, this might blend into my other stuff I do, but how much are you paying attention to conformation?
It's not our main focus, but it is up there. Are we paying attention to get a show conformation champion? That's not our main focus, but they got to be conformationally correct.
Right.
You know, so that is right up there. We don't push the show ring real hard. If people want to do it, fine. We push at least the family hunting and at least compete in some type of hunting event.
An AKC junior at least or something like that.
Get the dog out, get it on birds. That's what they really want to do. Yeah.
So I interviewed Nancy Beth out of Clemens and I hunted with her and her husband Steve in North Dakota. So they hunt, and she'd been to Westminster with her dogs.
Yes.
But there's not a lot of breeds that can. There's such a show field, like you couldn't take your field dog and compete in the ring because the judges are looking for. I'm exaggerating. A 36-inch tall Vizsla.
Correct.
What is the is there a pretty good split or is it not bad with the Vizsla?
Vizsla is a pretty good split. There's the show side, then there's the field trial side, and the field trial and all that stuff. Then there's a pretty decent split in there, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I want to personally say we try to do somewhat in the middle.
Yeah.
But we will lean towards more of the competition hunt side.
So you'd care more about just either the FCI or the AKC standard.
Correct.
It should be so tall. You're not going to breed a little shrimpy one.
Yep.
Because I remember seeing some of them that had legs about the size of a woodcock.
Yep.
I'm like, how did that happen?
You're starting to see more of them. You know.
Really?
Yeah. More is like, oh, I just want a small. They want because they want to live with them, and I get it, but they still gotta fit what they're or normally to be.
Yeah. There was a reason for it.
And we've had some dogs that sold them either too small or too big. They got to fit the mold.
Yeah. They should look like they're supposed to look.
Correct.
What do you think about this new breed, Dave?
That is a very good wire-haired Vizsla looking.
Not bad, is it?
No.
It's not. Do Vizslas get that much white in the chest ever? I don't think so. Not
no.
because that came from the Bracco side of the family.
I've seen some. I've seen a handful that can be somewhat average.
You know how pleased I was when she had that litter and I didn't. There's only two dogs.
Mm-hmm.
It's Tagus, my wire-haired Vizsla, that could have been the dad, or my neighbor's Walker Hound. And when those 7 puppies came out red, I was like yes, bingo.
Okay,
at least
good.
I don't have to kill them.
Natural selection doesn't have to take over here.
And I started sending Bill. I said, "Hey, Bill, send a picture of the puppy." I said, "Guess what I'm getting you for Valentine's Day?" That's about when they're ready to go home. And Bill was just dumb enough to fly from Boise.
I was in.
You should see this whole. You may have seen this before or not. I've had litters of puppies. I've picked up puppies from other breeders. Never had real travel problems. This entire litter drooled like they were going to dehydrate themselves.
So like
First time in a car. You ever seen that?
Yep. Handful of our litters have it.
It's got to be just something that it all cleared up.
It goes. Most of the time, it don't take long, but it is a mess when they do it.
Well, Bill, tell how you came to my house in Michigan.
I came in to pick her up. We spent a few days there.
Yeah.
We thought, we better see if this dog
Yeah,
will
about
travel.
5 hours before we went to the
Before
airport.
going to the airport, put her in a carrier. She puked within 30 seconds. I thought, we'll
But
try
she
another-
puked after the long drool things were coming out.
And it's not a nice drool either. It's like
It's
a blue
It's a snot slime.
Yeah.
film.
It's like if you blew your nose with a coal, you'd be like, good, that's out of my system.
Uh-huh.
The funniest part was, he goes, we're only on my neighbor's property. We're just kind of seeing how she's doing, right? And so Bill, she's not doing good. So Bill reaches over with his hand, grabs her up and over the seat right onto his lap. Well, that didn't help anything because that was like a tilt-a-whirl. You would throw a roll of paper towels in my truck trying to clean your pants up.
Well, and I'm glad I took a roll of paper towels with me on the airplane because I needed them the whole way.
But it cleared up after you got home.
Cleared up, yeah. She had one little issue in the pickup truck, and after that, no problem. She rides in the truck, she rides in the kennel, rides in the crate, just fine.
Yeah, it was amazing. We didn't do dew claws because I didn't know if we were going to keep them. Mm-hmm. But I did have a vet come over and dock the tail. So that's kind of a visual tail, right?
100%.
It's pretty good length.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen any that curl in, like they just stay down, kind of? That's
Yeah.
what Tagis's does.
Just always just stays a little low.
There's always a little
banana.
unless he's excited about like something else. It might go to like half mast, but I kept the one that has the worst tail. I kept it for punishment. For letting the whole thing happen. But Katie went to North Dakota with us.
Yeah, she went to North Dakota with us in the middle of September. She actually did very, very well.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And somebody else might have a different opinion, but I thought she did great.
This litter, I was predicting that, like, oh, this should be good. It's a hunting dog and a hunting dog. Why wouldn't it have something, right?
Right.
You talk about slow to develop a search.
Right.
What's the slowest you ever seen a dog develop a search?
And if they don't, like if they're not searching somewhat by 6-8 months old, is like okay, start scratching their head. I've seen some up to a year, but I mean then those don't go very far. They usually they never get there.
Search.
No, but most of the time as a pup, they don't got to get far, but you at least want to see them trying to do something at 3-4 months of age.
Right, and these weren't.
You were going for walks?
Just walks. Yeah. And then, because you came all the way out there, Bill, you had one dog.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, last year I was walking with Ron and his dogs, and you took her on every day out there. A little improvement, like by day 3 you shoot a bird, or day 2 you shot a bird?
Day 2.
Day
Right.
2?
Yeah, she pointed a bird.
And then she's finding birds and point. It's
It was like the switch went on, and she got that taste, and man, she was on it.
yeah.
And searching well. And
It's all exposure.
Well, there's, but I always said, like, I've never bred enough litter of dogs. And of course, then I had that stint with the Broncos, so you don't know what you got until they're, 11. But it's like, I would say you could get yourself a German short hair. Now, you'd probably know it's searched because of the way it acted in the house sometimes, but you probably didn't have to do a lot of puppy walks, and you could get a decent search score.
Correct.
These dogs, they had to have
You would have to expose them to a field with birds in them
Right.
for them to understand this is what I'm doing.
Yeah. And I'm not really tickled with that, but it worked out, I guess, in the long run. Yeah.
well, and Zuka's finally, she's picking it up now.
But
Getting
literally,
around a little bit.
I bought quail from the landlord of the house we stayed in. Susan, Davey. And I was like, okay, this dog's got to see some birds because I can't make a pup that without a search go find a sharp tail.
No,
You know what I mean?
You'll find them before the pup will.
Right. And so I planted 2 birds in the morning, 2 at noon, 2 in the afternoon on that field just east of their house. You get one? Hey,
You want to
Jim?
grab one of these? Yeah, culture. Thank you, sir.
And that dog, the one thing I'll say about him, I guess Matt's dog hasn't done it, but when they point, with Tagis's point, and I don't know if this is a wired visual thing or a visual thing, the first bird Tagus point, I had it produced. There was no, once he pointed,
He wasn't moving.
he was not moving. He was basically a staunch dog. And stayed that way. I never got that lucky.
We see that on the visual side.
So it's got to be a visual.
I would guess
That's
it's a
what
wire-haired visual thing because
And backs, too.
the natural back.
Yeah.
I hear that's not a Bronco thing.
There isn't
seen a Bronco in North America. You know Quigley, right?
Yep,
You know
yep.
Steve's dog. Steve's dog went to the Invitational,
Yep.
and of course the only thing it didn't make it on was backing.
And he got a 2 in backing. I mean, this close.
It's close. And I said, "How do you feel about backing?" He said, "I don't feel too bad." And under my breath, I'm thinking with a subtitle like, "Hey, ain't no Bronco gonna pass this." They just, I've always heard it was a strong pointing instinct that is there,
Oh, that's fine.
but I've seen my Broncos have a good strong, have gotten all good scores in pointing. There's just, I don't know if they never ran them together, if they never tried, I don't know what it was, but at least these dogs will point and hold a point, which is,
Yes.
because you know how many people that come to you that say like, haven't seen him point yet, he's a year old, because they're still flushing.
Well, if you personally ask me, one of the Vizslas that we ever see, they have too much point. Like when we start teaching them puppies, we just start giving them birds like, take it. I want you to just don't point it, just grab it and chase it. I don't care because they will point.
We got the Labrador tail.
Where you take like a wire hair, is like you don't want to give them too many birds because then they're just gonna take
Oh,
every
yeah,
one.
they're just gonna say, "Oh, you know what? I don't have to point."
I don't need you.
So the point is you're strong in the visual line.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
got to be.
Yep. And that's also what makes the retrieve a little lacking in them because they're so strong and pointing, they're just gonna stop and point everything.
Yeah, your dogs are good retrievers.
Yep. We're picky. Is
Yeah.
that they must naturally retrieve in order for us to breed them.
Yeah, there's
And,
so
and
many
that
things
and that isn't shoot 100 and they bring me 1 back.
right.
You know, is like
They gotta be
gotta-
true natural
retrieve. Yeah.
Where if you wanted to go to a trained retrieve, it would only be because you want to teach them blinds.
Correct.
Things like
Correct. So yeah, I force fetch every one of them, but their first year they're bringing birds.
Back.
Doesn't have to be to hand, but it's gonna be within a few feet where I don't have to walk out there and get it.
that. Right.
We saw a lot of long retrieves today with Casey's dogs.
Is that you were just letting them get out there a little farther, make it a little sporty?
Yeah.
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 Well, you don't want to tear up the meat.
That's right. That's right.
Less BBs.
Yeah, less BB.
Yeah,
When are you gonna get a dog, Roof? It's
Well,
almost time.
the free litter and there wasn't enough to go around, I guess.
I still got that one at home you can have.
I don't need a starter dog. I'll go from the beginning.
Oh, you want to raise them right.
Right,
All
I'm
right.
gonna get a
Understandable.
code. I'm gonna get a
So
program.
not the lodges with standing tape. Has it been I've heard South Dakota was spotty. Mm-hmm. What about the hatch? Like for,
It was definitely spotty. I've been out a handful of times, and there's some spots where there's not much. Then other spots is like, holy crap, there's birds everywhere here.
Right, right.
Definitely a very staggered hatch.
Yeah.
I've shot birds that only have just red on their head, white ring. The rest are brown, and I've shot
Right.
this year birds fully colored. I was out on resident opener. Brood of pheasants got up in front of us, and not a single one had color, and they were about the size of a chucker.
Wow.
Oh,
So it's like,
did you didn't mistake it for huns? Did you?
no, it's like they're gonna fly away to see. Hopefully, heck, they're a month away from color yet.
Jesus. What
We were doing some road hunting down by Plankton, and I was just kind of scouting.
Oh, you were ahead of me.
And there was a rooster looked like he was a month old. Mm-hmm. And he was running down the road. Kept looking back.
He's like, got something chasing me.
You better learn to quit looking back.
Huck, Steamboat had it right for us.
Every time he turned and looked at me, I kind of looked away like I wasn't looking. And then he'd run.
Is that Mario Brother thing when you turn around and look at the skeleton, they stop
Right,
chasing
exactly. I'm like, oh, Sandhill Cranes. All right.
Bill, are you gonna? I would think at some point, are you gonna take Kate out?
Here? Oh,
Yeah.
hell yeah. Yeah, I might do it this afternoon.
Oh, I mean, I don't mean just for the run. I mean like
in the group.
for the group because
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't. Casey's like, as long as the group's okay, you can. That's what's nice about coming here. You guys, if you come to White Lake with your dog, and you're with your group or a blended group, you just say, look, my dog's only so good. And in case you say, look, this dog is ridiculous with this.
I would assume it has a pretty good retrieve. It's carrying everything.
Food bowls, gloves, and it's like, look at me, look at me, look at me.
I brought 2 pairs of boots just so she had something
Play
grab
with.
and parade around with.
But so Casey's told us that bring your dogs. I mean, as long as your friends are with you and you don't mind them saying, hey, your dog blew a field out, which happens.
It does.
But you can do it. We didn't do it today until after lunch. I took Vivi out, which she was actually fine. It wasn't Taffy.
As I heard there was, you haven't learned your lesson, but you got her back without no collar on again.
No collar.
But you got her back.
She comes when I call. She's a. I don't want to say. All right, you know me. I pick favorite daughters, Roof. You know, like I'm the only guy that says that.
Well, no, Deion Sanders says it as well.
Okay.
He says if anyone says they love their kids the same, they're lying.
Taffy, I was more endeared to Taffy, but Vivi came from Absolute Kennels in North Dakota, field trial stock. She really has more real zip, real.
Okay.
It's just there more. Taffy, I would have had to almost like get her into more like this one just went to it.
Okay.
It was just in it.
It was there.
And the only thing I haven't done because I'm too lazy is get any kind of steadiness on her.
Right.
But she won't go blow a field or anything like that. But
And
I still blame you for that field we blew with Taffy.
I do remember, Ron, do you want to put a collar on this dog? You can't lose a cocker. How do you lose a cocker?
You can't lose a cocker, no, go 30 yards. Oh, it was 50 minutes of mayhem. But anyway, so yeah.
No,
So
Yeah, I will definitely take her out. I didn't want to take her out today, first day, because I just get a feel for it and see what what it's like and what the other dogs are going to do. But I think
yeah, because she is not going to be a giant runner anyway.
She's not. She absolutely.
So let her have some fun with all the.
you'd be surprised though. You get in a row where there's a bunch of birds and they just keep running that row.
Yeah.
But like, I have a year-old pup with me. I've had her out with a handful of times with me. I don't expect much because they're running with seasoned dogs. That have done this numerous years.
Yeah.
All I expect is listen, chase the birds that are shot. I don't expect you to get there first. If you do, pick it up.
Yeah.
If not, like if a bird comes across you, point it. It's like,
Yeah.
as long as you're not running to the end of the field and I get a phone call from the bus driver at the end, hey, there's a dog down here and we just started.
Again.
Again?
So that'll be fun to see Katie. And I'll probably, if you do Katie, I'll probably do Tagus.
Yeah,
That'd
I
be
think
fun.
that'd be fun.
Because I ran Tagus. We met a guy in a bar, imagine that, in South Dakota. And he came out with his son, and Roof and I, and Troy and his dad went with him. He came out, his buddy was supposed to come, buddy couldn't make it, so it's him and his little son. And he's got permission on property,
Nice.
no dogs.
Ooh.
So we went out, we got a bird.
There was a mile-long corn strip that we didn't push.
But yeah, I was surprised. Tagus did really good in sorghum and corn. He got all.
Quarter-mile wide by a
I got to show you that too.
They're in
I
there.
don't know, for as woolly a coat as he has.
Right underneath the eyes?
Yeah.
That sorghum, it's like razor blades. It
Jeez,
just,
he looks.
if they have a pronounced eye bone or bone
Which he
socket
does,
right
he's
there,
got a very
it just
high
it just
cheekbone.
rips it right through.
He looks like he was a prize fighter.
Yep.
When he
You
came
got to
out.
get goggles on them.
I haven't ever used rec specs. It's like putting a bike helmet on your kid. You know it's the you know
it's the right thing to
you know it's the right thing to do, but you know you didn't do it when you were a kid.
And it's debatable if you turned out fine, but you're here.
I mean, Bill, when did you first start wearing bike helmets?
I don't think I've ever worn one.
I wear one.
Why'd you wear one?
I wear one clean the gutters.
He cleans his ladder to clean it.
Yeah, I look like Kazoo up there.
So, and then Casey said tomorrow she's got some strips that have some grass strips aside of it. So she wants more of us to bring her dog because she got her old lab.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the short hair that's young. Are you gonna bring your dog out, Jim?
Yeah.
That's a S. Wait,
SEMF.
No, SSMFer. Sandwich stealing mother.
Oh, stealing. I thought we were going to eating. That comes after the stealing.
That comes after the stealing. If I was gonna have a lab, though, that's my lab right there.
The FDA might hire Zebra for any food products coming into the country that
You'll find them.
it's
She
contraband.
might not find any marijuana, but someone's bringing us some shellfish from somewhere. I walked through the kitchen yesterday. I grabbed an Oreo cookie, ate it on my way, and sat down. And Zeba comes up and looks at me like,
Where's mine?
and she was over there. Don't tell me she doesn't have a good nose. So this could be tomorrow. All the dogs that aren't meant to go.
Yeah,
This is.
the B team tomorrow.
It's gonna be all B team. I mean, it's always a ball. I've always been a social hunter anyway. This is like, you can't get a better social hunt than hanging out here. But I'm sure maybe not everybody that's called you said they talked to me, but on occasion I said they're looking for a Vizsla, and I said get a hold of Tate. And not because I don't know how good. I mean, I know you've passed dogs and high level tests and all that. But when I first got here, the first year, like 4 or 5 years ago, in the first year we came.
Yes.
And I'm assuming we're going to be with, Flushing dogs. And you were running your Vizslas. And I was like, you don't run pointing dogs on a flock and blank. And
You're falling in. What are we getting ourselves into?
I'm like, this is how, without getting into the training part of it, are you just controlling range? Or,
Yes.
So if you go to North Dakota, they'll just go out and do their thing.
They'll hunt differently.
Right.
But
So
that's hard to do.
it is. So like, I try to get most of my grouse hunting in before I start guiding and all that stuff.
Okay.
But like, I'm not saying I can't go out there tomorrow. And when I first, so I've had a couple weeks of guiding in on them. So when I would first turn them out, probably 10, 15 minutes, it'd probably be a little closer. But then they start realizing they can start venturing out, and I'm not keeping them in.
Yeah.
They start ranging their normal range. Then they come here.
So it's almost like training, almost.
It
Kind of
is.
like
They know the difference.
they just know this is what we do here.
Yep.
Because that is so rare to use pointing dogs
Yes.
for basically flushing dog work.
Like, sorghum strips, corn strips, and all that stuff. Yeah, you use pointing dogs. Like, what are you talking about?
My friend Justin, that we did the Upland Institute with, he says, you want to have a bad quail hunt, run into pheasants. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they don't play by the rules,
No.
and it's not a place that you would suggest. If somebody bought a puppy from you and says, "Well, I've got a big cornfield next to me," you're not going to suggest to them to go run the dog in the cornfield.
No. It's a learned habit. Like I have, like my year-old pup. I've ran her in the grass strips I've had around here just to get used to the big groups. I've ran her in 2 sorghum strips, and she's done good. She has yet to see corn. Because at least sorghum you can't see very far.
See down the line.
Right.
Yeah.
Corn's a little bit different.
It's like a bowling alley. There it is. I'll go get it.
Right, and it does happen.
Yeah.
And I might save her back then, or save her when we have a bigger group where we can maybe double flank stuff, so in case something happens, someone will be at least going to shoot at it.
But I never see your dogs ever just run the strip and then run back like a dog that wasn't used to it. So I just wondered how they just learned it. It's like two different playing fields.
It is,
It's like Canadian something or indoor soccer compared to outdoor soccer or something.
It's just putting them out there, and I'm just controlling range, and then they just, all right, they're going where the birds are. It's like, all right, I'm keeping you.
But you're not hammering the button much.
Tone.
You're just
Tone.
You're just using tone.
And I don't know if you hear me.
Oh, we
handful
hear you.
of guys
Everybody
know,
can hear too.
but like I'm walking through there, and I'll just be whistling every so often.
You're almost singing to them. Then.
It's like they know where I'm at. It's like, all right, I try to keep them within that 40-yard range, and that seems pretty good. And yes, sometimes they get out the 80 yards.
Oh, yeah.
They do. But I trust my dogs. They should point them.
But they aren't going down a corn row to find the next bird. They're
They're
going down
not.
a corn row if they were on a bird.
They were on a bird tracking.
And that's normal.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
That's a lot. That's a lot of management while you're out there.
It
And then
is.
keeping all those Oshnaks
that's-
in line and
That's why a lot of people ask, isn't it boring not shooting? I'm like, no, I ain't got time to shoot.
even if you had a barrel cam on your head, you wouldn't have time to shoot.
No.
I always say that when Casey gave a talk today about, you know, who hasn't done this before. And I think there's 3 people that hadn't done it before. And I threw my 2 cents in about shooting across fields and all the safety part of it. But I always say the first field, and everybody hasn't done it in a while, even the guys who've done it in a while, when you watch geese fly and you're like, what happened to that V? All of a sudden the left side went up and the right side went up and then the V went away. The first time we walked these fields, there isn't a straight line across that thing. But when we hunted with you years ago, you're like a drill sergeant out there.
You somewhat got to be to a point, but yeah.
Nice about it, but like, flank him right, flank, 40 more yards. Back up, you're going too far.
Yeah.
At first we're like, oh my God, it's like the gym teacher here. But it works.
And the airport called, said he was making too much noise. Exactly.
You guys should have been at opening weekend. The first 2 days I was good. Day 3, my voice was gone.
That's hard to believe.
And like I was squeaking. It's like I'm trying to. Then we switched groups, and day 4 I was starting to get some of my voice back, but I wasn't. And the guys were kind of making fun of me. It sounded like I was getting emotional trying to yell at the guys, but I couldn't yell.
You were like,
It's what it sounded like. You talk about frustrating, because then I have to run all the way down to the end of the cornfield to put the guy where I want him to because I can't yell at him.
yeah, I cannot. That's one thing I would not. I don't know if I guess I could adapt to anything. You know, everybody say, "Oh, I could work at McDonald's if I had to."
Yeah.
But when you get the instructions and you say, "Okay, I want you to block this corner," and they're not even on the corner, or they're not. If they're on the corner, it's like they're not they didn't listen to the instructions. Birds could be going over the head. I think they're waiting for birds to walk out of the corn because there's always, corner blockers that you hear bird, rooster.
You talk to some people and you try to explain where to go, and you get that deer in the headlight look. You get that a handful of times. Usually, I just grab them and you just stand right here. You just walk them to where they need to be. That's right. Thank God we got like Dennis and Ron, to drive the blockers and stuff to where they're supposed to be.
And then they can.
Because at previous places I've been by myself, and you put someone new in a pickup and say, this strip here, drive to the end of it and block right around the corner. They're half mile over on the next strip. It's like, and I ain't got their number, so the buddies are trying to call them, and it's just like, all right, this is cool.
I can see you waving at them, and they just thumbs up. I'm blocking, I'm ready.
Not the right one, but yeah.
Roof, you remember how you and I would fight sometimes when we'd have like a plan? And you're like, okay. I said,
well, you're talking hieroglyphics and half sentences, because you think more than you say.
I think you know what I'm thinking.
Maybe.
And we've had some colossal, basically arguments out there. It's like, you didn't tell. I said, I did tell you. So you picture somebody that hasn't hunted. They don't know. No. Even by day 4, they're probably not doing a great job of it.
I want to get back to. I got a trivia question on the geese.
A trivia question. All right. What we got?
Well, you were talking about the V's on.
Yeah.
You know why there's one side's longer than the other?
There's more birds.
There's more birds on the one side. Damn. You
can't get one by Ron.
Right. Yeah.
You can't get past me.
That was good.
Billy, have you hunted with her back in? Yeah, you hunted with her back in Boise, right?
Yeah, one time. Yeah, we went
Chuckers.
No, actually quail hunt, and she did pretty good. We were out for about 4 hours. She pointed 3 coveys of quail. I didn't bring any birds back, but
you just out training.
Well, the birds actually weren't holding. She pointed them and they weren't holding. They were getting up, so I was making Hail Mary shots anyway. But it was still fun watching her. She's got a lot of search and a lot of.
I was so glad when one of that litter started hunting.
One. 100 years out, this could be the top versatile breed.
No, it's not going to be. This is not being repeated. The guy who's friend of Scott Bazell,
Yeah.
He's been duck hunting his dog and woodcock hunting, and it's doing fine too.
One of these.
It's just like
Yeah.
one of I was saying.
One of those. One of those.
Well, and yeah,
But
he took
if-
one of the bigger females, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you don't, what you were saying about this dog has to be exposed to some stuff. They're just not coming out of the box search.
They are not. No.
That's and that shocked me. Even, and I'm saying this with tongue in cheek. Even Broncos searched without knowing there was a bird in the field.
Right.
These dogs had to know there was a paycheck.
No.
Did
Smart
you guys
dogs,
have?
that's why.
Now you and Jim didn't have any dogs when you were growing up.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
you're
had
the labs.
We
in
had
the
5
family.
labs, yeah.
But that was your grandma's or your?
No, our grandma was a breeder, and she raised some champion field trial dogs, black labs, and we always had labs. We always
So when you
hunted labs.
kick around the
She had the,
Oh, yeah.
they had the knockoffs.
field trial drops.
Yeah, we hunted the labs a lot, and they, but they're
So if
flush.
there's good bird numbers,
Yeah.
you don't need a giant ranging dog. Do you run any labs yourself, or you stick with all pointing dogs?
99% pointing dogs. A few years ago, I had a client that wanted me to get his dog in shape, and it was a good little lab. I did have a lab out here that I would run, and she did a pretty good job. I think I had her 3 years ago for a couple years.
But she's back
That she resides in California.
and probably doesn't hunt anymore.
Couldn't tell you that one.
Oh, sad.
I know it.
Well, I just want to do a little primer episode, day one. We're going to end up doing something in the casino later in the week.
There you go.
We're going to have a little South Dakota trivia game for you South Dakota people.
Oh boy.
And I don't want you to sit in that casino all night playing poker. I want you to start reading some South Dakota Digest and start Googling some South Dakota history.
I'll
You're
see what I can do.
It's going to be just like grade school, isn't it?
Yeah.
And as the teacher said to your parent, he just doesn't apply himself.
You are right.
Ron got that 8 years times 4 quarters, so 32 times you
32
got
times
that
my mom
count.
got that note on her report card.
And-
he would do better if he just apply himself.
And exercise
Which kind of goes to
self-control.
this litter we have. If we would just apply ourselves to them, you're proof that dogs can hunt.
Well, yeah, and you're just lazy, Ron. That's the only problem.
That's a
That's all there
damn
is.
fact. That's a damn fact. This year, I said, they'll get in shape when we hunt.
They'll get you on.
Well,
They
it was-
will.
It was, but it was like 59 degrees, 60 degrees.
Yep.
It's just hot enough if a dog isn't in shape.
It's hot.
Gassed out.
Yep.
Gassed out in North Dakota. Have you gone up North Dakota much?
I have not been in there in a good handful of years.
Do you go out? Do you have the time to go out for early prairie grouse in South Dakota?
Yep. I made it out there a couple times. Had pretty good luck. Got quite a few sharps, good handful of prairie chickens, even got myself a rattlesnake.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Flying rattlesnake or on the ground?
No. My old 8-year-old pointed it, and I knew it was a weird point. Walking up there, and I'm probably 30 yards away, and I start to hear the rattle. And I have 3 other, so I had 4 dogs on the ground at that time because I was just kind of going out for a little run, maybe get a bird or two because I'm on my way out there. Heard the rattle. Everyone got to me really quick. Then they
With
walked
towing?
on. Yeah, no, there was more involved with that one. Because you're coming here now. Everyone walked on heel. I walked around it. Yeah. I seen it about 10 feet away. Shot it as I kept walking, and I just kept on walking.
And they didn't go for the retrieve of the shot?
They attempted to, but they got stopped real quick.
Okay.
It was like,
Oh,
it's
he-
off
so
limits.
He means it this time.
That's kind of like rattlesnake avoidance.
It was close.
San
That's
Quentin
as close
called
I
him.
wanted to get, and I'm just going to keep going. But then I ended up shooting a sharp tail and prairie chicken half hour later.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's one thing I shot back in the day. I got both chickens and sharpies in South Dakota. You can't do that in North Dakota.
No.
They're not there. All right, well, listen, we're going to keep this back up. We're going to do a recap after the hunt, but it's just a little primer hunt. Me, Roof, Jim, Bill, and Tate sitting here after we were done at 2 o'clock today?
2 o'clock.
Not bad. 30 some birds.
Yeah.
And about, 140 misses, I'm guessing. I mean,
Don't want to count the
Thank God.
empty shells.
thank God White Lake supplies the ammunition because it would piss me off. If it was
We don't
my
want to count what we started with, what we ended with.
own. Right, that never comes in the equation. All right, love you guys, love you girls more.